Hey, welcome back to Make It Good. Today I'm going to show you how I built a deck to act as an outdoor workspace for my tiny workshop. Stick around, we'll get started. I had originally planned to have an outdoor workspace as part of this shop, and I have about a 10 foot by 10 foot space to do so. So I'm going to be building a deck that'll accommodate me bringing projects out that are particularly dusty or have a lot of fumes, or just to work outside on a nice day. With the cost of lumber being so high lately, I've been putting off this deck project. But finally the prices have started dipping down more into my comfort zone, so I was able to go out and purchase all the supplies to get started. Here on the Texas coast, we have very sandy soil, and I'm always tracking sand into the shop and having to clean it up. I put these blocks down as steps to get up into the shop and kind of eliminate some of that sand I'm tracking in. I do plan on reusing some of these blocks for the foundation of this deck, but for right now I just need to get them out of the way so I can start leveling the ground. I'm wanting the top board of the deck to slide in right under the door's threshold. I'm removing enough sand to accommodate the foundation blocks as well as the frame and the top board of the deck. Luckily with this sand, it's real easy to move around and real easy to get things level. I went ahead and set a couple of the foundation blocks up against the foundation of the shop, and I'm working on the third here. As you can see, there are a lot of live oak roots coming up through the sand. With us having such sandy soil, those roots really stay up at the top, and really the most challenge of getting everything in place is getting these roots out of the way. Not a huge deal, but it does take a little bit of time to get them out of the way. A bit of the concrete from the workshop foundation just needed to be chipped out of the way just so I can make sure everything lines up nice and even. Once I get everything nice and level across the three foundation blocks, it's just as simple as packing all the sand back around the block and locking it into place. Now I clear the rest of the area for the foundation. Most of the ground over here is fairly level, so this doesn't really take a whole lot of effort. Everything is now nice and level. Now it's time to start cutting these frame boards down to their final size. Now you may notice, if you've watched any of my videos in the past, that I am trying out some new hearing protection earmuffs. These are the Tracker Blue earmuffs by Axel. As I've gotten older, my hearing has greatly diminished, so I'm wanting to protect the hearing that I have left. These earmuffs are not only hearing protection, but hearing enhancement. They're also Bluetooth capable. So while I'm wearing them, I can hear conversations around me, I can turn them up so I can hear better, and as soon as a loud noise comes in, they automatically shut down to hearing protection. Plus I can listen to music or podcast or whatever while I'm working. They're pretty cool. I'm just trying them out, so I'll do a more in-depth review as I do more work with them. These 5 boards for the main frame, I need to make sure they're nice and secure, and most importantly, nice and square. With the frame all nice and square, it's now time to double check the measurements and cut down all the joists. With these being a foot on center, there's going to be quite a few of them. I measure the center of each joist and then make marks where the edge of the board will lie on either side of that. That way I have a quick visual reference when laying out the joist. I also make sure that I'm measuring from the same side every time. That way my measurements are the most accurate. I stage all the joists so they're easy to access. I've also pulled the frame away from the workshop wall so I have room to put the screws in from that side. As I put each of these joists in place, I'm using some 6-inch clamps just to hold them right in between the marks I made. That way they're exactly where they need to be when I put the screws in. The frame is fully assembled, and now we can finish this out by putting on the deck boards. I'm using a combo square to make sure that the screws are lined up over the center of the joist below, and also to make sure those screws are placed evenly on the deck board itself. It's especially important to get this right on this first board, as I'm going to be using this as a reference point to ensure proper screw placement and spacing across the entire deck. One other consistent measurement to keep in mind is the spacing between boards. I'm using the width of one of my screws as a quick reference to make sure the boards are evenly spaced. Here's where we are at the end of the first day of building. I feel like it's coming together really well, and I've got some good reference points for finishing this thing out. I enjoy projects like these where on the surface it may seem kind of simple. Yeah, building a deck is not terribly hard, but when you put some time and effort into making sure everything is exactly as you envisioned, everything is lining up and everything is symmetrical, it almost becomes a piece of artwork, and you can put great pride into how that turns out. All the boards are in place, but we're not quite done. Now we've got to screw these deck boards down to each and every joist. And to do that, we're using our screws that we put in nice and neat on those first boards as a reference point to snap a chalk line so that we can line up all the rest of the screws across each joist. I'm starting with the center joist to ensure the boards are evenly spaced across their entire length. Since these deck boards aren't absolutely perfectly straight, I can use leverage to nudge them one way or the other before I screw them down to make sure I have that same spacing between the boards all the way across. Well, there we go. A pretty easy 10 by 10 wood deck, nice pressure treated lumber for my tiny workshop. It was probably an easy day project. It took me a couple days just because I had other things going on. Pretty simple project. Luckily, I live in an area that has good soil for making it really easy to level things out. But yeah, it was a pretty simple project, and I'm going to really appreciate having this extra space outside to pull some of my work out on nice days, or when I'm making a whole lot of dust, or just whatever requires me to be outside. So appreciate you following along. Hope you like what you saw. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, subscribe to the channel. If you do subscribe, hit that notification button so you know when I post new videos. I appreciate each and every one of you following along. Y'all get out there and make it good. Thanks a lot.